Hello and welcome back to Radical Disruption. Or if this is your first time here, hello, I am so glad that you're here. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about creating magnetic messaging. I get a lot of direct messages, and there's been a common theme in my DMs recently along the lines of the question, how do you make your messaging so magnetic? And that's what I'm going to dive into in this episode. Magnetic messaging means that people are drawn in and sold to before you even have the chance to actually sell to them. If you're feeling stuck with your messaging and you're struggling to attract your ideal clients, I'm going to walk you through three really simple ways to take your copy from boring and predictable and generic to really exciting and connecting and stand out to your ideal client and their biggest needs, which is going to actually sell them even more into your offers because they feel connected. And when they're sold into your offers, that's more money in your pocket. More money in your pocket allows you to continue to grow and increase your impact, which is what I want for you. And also probably what you want for yourself. Let's dive into the three different ways. Number one, create a movement piece that embodies the overarching idea of what it is that you teach. Now, a movement piece is a phrase or a slogan or a mantra that you coin to show the embodiment of what it is that you teach. Now, this needs to connect with your values and the impact that you are wanting to make. And it also needs to resonate very deeply with your audience and the dream outcome that they are searching for. So you need to really think beyond just selling your product or service. This is about creating something that people want to be a part of. This is something that is bigger than you. It is something that people can honestly take on as their own mantra, their own slogan for their life. Now, let me give you an example. My movement piece revolves around the concept of stacking income while stacking memories. I have a neon sign above my desk that says stacking income, stacking memories. It is something that I talk about all the time. My broadcast channel on Instagram is called Stacking Income, Stacking Memories. I aim to teach my community the possibility of making money while creating meaningful memories and vice versa. And that is something that my ideal client resonates deeply with. They want to build a business that is life giving, a business that allows them to make memories with their family, with their friends, that allows them to travel the world, to have that freedom and not build a business where they are just working and working and working, right? The saying that I like to say is you want to build a business that supports your life and not a life that supports your business, right? And so again, that's where that phrase like building a life-giving business comes from. And the slogan, stacking income, stacking memories, is something that came to me while I was on a call with a client. And so I was on a call with this client and I hopped off the call and I looked at my email and I had payment notifications that I had made money, that people had purchased my offers while I was on this call, and I screenshotted those and I posted those on my Instagram stories. And I don't know how it came to me, but it just randomly came to me that I was like, oh, I'm stacking income, because I was making money while I was on this call with this client, but I also was making money while I was on the call with the client and a different aspect of my business too. I was stacking income there. And then I also thought about stack. And so we were on this call with this client. I was talking about building a business that was life-giving. And so I was talking about the power of building a business that allows you to live your life. And so that's where stacking income, stacking memories came from. And it just happened to be as well that the client that I was on a call with, she had also received payment notifications while she was on the call with me. And so it was like this full circle moment. We were both stacking income and stacking memories. And so that is my movement mantra, my movement phrase or slogan, whatever you want to call it, in my business. So it's not just about the offer. It's not just about what it is that you teach. It's about embodying the values and the vision behind it and finding something that your audience deeply resonates with. I'm going to give two examples outside of just my example. Erin May Henry, she is a amazing business owner. I had the opportunity to be inside of a mastermind with her in the beginning of 2023. Her movement piece is, quote, be the coolest person I know. And she incorporates this phrase along with an acronym BTCPIK, which just is the acronym of Be the Coolest Person I Know. She talks about this all the time in her content, and her entire like Instagram account and all of her offers even are around this concept of becoming the coolest person that you know, and how you can like really step into that like the fullest version of yourself. And so that is her movement piece, and it's infused into everything that she does. She even has like a clothing line that incorporates that concept as well. And then the other example is Lindsay Girk. She's an influencer, and she created a movement around the fact that when flamingos have their babies, they lose their pink color, but they eventually get it back. And so her movement is, quote, get your pink back, or she abbreviates it as GYPB. And she even created an entire clothing line that has been very massively successful with this concept of get your pink back. So it's a movement piece that brings people in and makes people feel like they are a part of something, right? And it's about, what does your ideal client, your ideal follower, what is that outcome that they're wanting to achieve? So it's not just like you and, oh, what is a slogan that makes sense for my business? It's like, how can you choose something that embodies what it is that you teach inside of your business, but also something that deeply resonates with your audience? And I'm going to say a little like disclaimer here. It's going to take you probably some time to think about this movement piece. Like for me, I didn't have a movement piece up until I think I coined stacking income, stacking memories about 6 months ago in my business. And so it might take you a little bit of time to find that thing where you're like, it just like deeply lands with you, or, oh my gosh, yes, this is like my movement piece. So just start thinking about it. It might not come to you right now. It might take you a few weeks, a few months, or it might pop in your head right now and you might have this light bulb moment of, oh, this is that thing. Whatever your time frame is, it's great. Just start thinking about that, and it'll eventually come to you. And that's going to be that thing where people feel really connected to you because of that slogan. Now, number 2, infuse your copy with language that your ideal follower or your ideal client uses. I should say ideal follower, ideal client, the same thing. I just say ideal follower in the context of like we're talking about social media and growing your Instagram following, and ideal client in the sense of like your business. But generally, and I would recommend that your ideal follower and your ideal client are the same thing. So just, I guess, a little clarity piece there. But copy that really truly converts is copy that uses your ideal client avatar's words, like the words that they are using. I genuinely believe that if you're struggling to create messaging that resonates with your ideal client avatar, it's because you don't understand and you don't know your ideal client avatar deeply enough. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't actually know what language my ideal client would use, hop on a call with that person. Ask them questions. Start to pay attention to the exact language that they are using, like in a question box that you post on your Instagram stories. How do they exactly phrase the things that they're struggling with when they're in your direct messages or when they're in your emails and they're telling you, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what I need help with? How are they exactly phrasing those things? You want to use their exact language, like copy and paste that, infuse that into your copy. Now, I'm going to give you an example, and this is very typical what I see when it comes to like courses and programs. When I look at the people sales pages, they'll say like, week 1, we're going to cover, and so it'll say something along the lines like week 1, pre-recorded training drop, scaling to 5K. So that might be for like my program scalability. This lacks emotional appeal that drives action. And also it doesn't mean anything. Like pre-recorded training drop, scaling to 5K. Okay. Obviously like that means that I'm probably going to learn how to scale to 5K, but what does that actually mean for me? And so if you can reframe that by using the language that your ideal client avatar would use. So I might say week 1, scaling to 5K, building the foundation and skipping the 12-hour work days, right? The 12-hour work days is what my audience is thinking that they need to do in order to scale to 5K. I even had people who've literally asked me, is it possible to scale to 5K and scale to 10K without working 12-hour days? And so I took that language from conversations that I've had with my ideal client avatar just my ideal client, my ICA, and I infuse that into my copy, right? And so now it's painting a vivid picture of what's possible. They're going to skip the 12-hour work days, and it also taps into the emotional desire that my ideal client has, which is skipping the 12-hour work days. So again, the first one was week 1, pre-recorded training drop, scaling to 5K. Okay, what does that mean for me? versus scaling to 5K, building the foundation and skipping the 12-hour work days, right? You need to explain why it's relevant to them, not just to you. You might think, oh yeah, like it makes sense. I know that there's a pre-recorded training drop and this is the topic. It's on scaling to 5K and it's happening in week 1 of this program. You might like that might make sense to you and that's great. But again, what is in it for them? Why is it relevant to them? So always asking yourself, what is in it for them can be very helpful. But to recap, effective copy that stands out speaks directly to your audience's aspirations and challenges and uses the exact language that they would use. If you do not know the language that they would use, if you're like, I'm not really sure, or I think that they would use this, but I'm not, if you're like, oh, I think that they would use this, or you're coming from the perspective of this is what I would use. No, you need to know that they would use that language and that they would describe their pain point or whatever it is that you're trying to get across in the exact way that, like, what am I trying to say? You need to know very deeply that's the exact way that they would explain whatever it is that they're going through. Hopefully that makes sense. So don't come from the perspective of, oh, I think that they would say this, or, oh, this is how I would say it. No, how would they say it? What is the exact language they would use? And if you don't know that, then that's one thing that I would probably get started with when it comes to magnetic messaging is getting to know your ideal client even deeper. Number 3, leverage ChatGPT to help you understand your ideal client's thoughts. Now, I'm going to leave a prompt down in the show notes that you can copy and paste and into ChatGPT, fill in, there's like little brackets. You want to fill in the brackets your information there. But what this prompt is going to spit out for you is it's going to give you 3 different columns. It's going to give you the thoughts, questions, and concerns that your, ideal client has when it comes to purchasing for you, right? From you, sorry. And there's going to be 15 different thoughts, questions, and concerns that are holding this client back from purchasing. And you're going to see this in like a table format when you implement it into ChatGPT. It's really awesome. What you're going to do with this is you're going to use the questions, concerns, thoughts to better your copy. So instead of you maybe saying like, learn the ins and outs of Instagram, right? That might be like how you're selling this offer. Learn the ins and outs of Instagram. Okay. What you're going to do instead is you're going to go to this table that ChatGPT just created for you, and you're going to take one of the concerns. Let's just say for a concern, for example, it could be a question or a thought too that you do, but we're going to take a concern. Maybe the concern is, I'm afraid I won't be able to keep up with the algorithm changes and I'm going to lose visibility because I have limited time to spend on Instagram, right? So that's a concern that I pulled directly from ChatGPT when I filled out this prompt for myself. And you're going to use that concern, and your copy might change to sound something more like, the algorithm is constantly changing and evolving. And that's why this membership is constantly changing and evolving, to make sure that you get the most up-to-date information. We make it our full-time job to understand how to get the most visibility so that you don't have to make Instagram your full-time job, letting you do more of what you're an expert at and increasing your impact, right? That right there, that's pinpointing their concern. It's addressing their concern. And that is magnetic messaging versus learn the ins and outs of Instagram. Okay, again, what's in it for me? That doesn't address any of my concerns. And then the algorithm is constantly changing and evolving. And that's why this membership is constantly changing and evolving. And even just saying, we make it our full-time job to understand how to get the most visibility so that you don't have to make Instagram your full-time job, letting you do more of what you're an expert at and increasing your impact. Boom, mic drop. So freaking good. So use ChatGPT, and you can use this prompt over and over again. You can input different information as you get to know more of your ideal client and what like concerns they might have. You can start to implement more of that language. If you go out and you start to do some research on your ideal client and you're like, hey, these are some exact phrases, like maybe some exact questions that my ideal client has or some exact concerns that they have, you can also plug that into this ChatGPT prompt, and you could say, hey, act as my ideal client. Here are some things that you have questions on, concerns on. Can you create a table format that maybe expands on these, or maybe based off of these, what are some other thoughts, questions, and concerns that you might have that are holding you back from purchasing? All right. That was a lot in 15 minutes. I hope that was so helpful. This is just the beginning, scratching the surface of creating magnetic messaging. These are 3 ways. And in the future, I will definitely create some more episodes as well that dive into magnetic messaging, but get to implementing. And again, if you're like, I'm not really sure what my ideal client would say, dive into that, do some research, and pull out the exact language that they are using. That alone is going to help you. That should be that's like a fourth bonus tip, is using the exact language that your ideal client is using. That alone is going to create magnetic messaging versus you coming from the perspective of, this is what I would say, or this is what I think that they would say. Because when you use their language, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's literally me, because it is literally them. That's exactly what they're saying. So it's going to speak to them. It's going to resonate more deeply with them. But I hope this episode was helpful. Thank you for tuning in.